You know what makes the Champions League so special? You get yourself two different teams, two different sets of tactics, two different managers, two different styles of play. And Chelsea have just spanked Barcelona 3-0 in the Champions League. It could have been more. Now, a lot of people will tell you the only reason why Barcelona lost 3-0 is because they went down to 10 men, because of Ronald Araujo. But the funny thing is, even when it was 11v11, Chelsea were on top. Chelsea were dominating. Chelsea had a goal ruled out for offside. Chelsea were dominating, the reigning La Liga winners. Now, there's so much to talk about. We can talk about Estevao's moment of magic. Estevao, a future Ballon d'Or winner, the star boy of South London. Look at what he's doing on the big stage against reigning La Liga winners. We can also talk about Enzo Maresca's man-to-man press, which really troubled Barcelona when playing out of the back. And then we can also talk about how Chelsea exploited this Barcelona high line with a 4-2-4 shape. In this video, we will be discussing all three of these things. I will really appreciate it if you guys hit the like and subscribe and engage in the comments. Let's get straight into it. Now let's start off with Pedro Neto. Yes, a player that was playing in a more unnatural position. You could say a striker / false nine position. But why? Why did Enzo Maresca want to utilize Pedro Neto in particular as his main focal point down the middle, down the center? Number one, his physicality, his ability to run the channels, his ability to run in behind. Now, Barcelona, the one thing that's known about them, especially under Hansi Flick, is yes, they'll dominate the ball. Yes, they'll score you a lot of goals. Yes, they've got a lot of wonderful players, the Lamine Yamals, the Kobasis, but their biggest Achilles heel, their biggest weakness, which gets exploited worldwide in the Champions League, in the La Liga, is their high line. When you've got somebody like Pedro Neto, who is a willing runner, and he is always going to stretch the pitch and drag the centre-backs with him, it creates space for those central players, the Caicedos, the Reece James, the Enzo Fernandez. Now, Pedro Neto, for me, I feel like he aided Chelsea a lot. One, in terms of running in behind, stretching the pitch. But two, Pedro Neto, once again, is a willing runner. He is a player that works hard. He doesn't stop running from minute 1 to minute 90. He probably runs home. When you look at Chelsea, they went man to man with Barcelona. They made sure, they were like, no problem. You want to set up in a back three and play out of the back? All three of your players will be occupied. Then you want to try play out of the back with a back four when you went down to 10 men? No problem. All four of these players will be occupied and pressure will be applied from minute 1 to minute 90. Why? Because we know that's how you want to play the game. We know you want to play out of the back. We know you want to progress the ball through the lines. We're going to make sure every single one of your players doesn't get time and space. You can see from these photos, whether it's down the left, down the right, higher up the field, Chelsea are going man to man. If it means Reece James stepping up, no problem. Cucurella stepping up, no problem. Estevao tucking inside, no problem. Even you could see, if Barcelona get into like the second phase in and around midfield, you see Chelsea set up in this 4-4-2 shape where Estevao will tuck inside alongside somebody like a Pedro Neto just to occupy the two Barcelona centre-backs. Barcelona had no time, no joy on the ball. And listen, when pressure is being applied, it now forces the team to just go long. I'll be real. If you're playing football and you force the opposition to keep going long, to keep going for the diagonal, to keep attempting the risky 40, 50, 60-yard pass, it's cash money. Because as long as you've got defenders that can win their duels in the air, you regain possession within a matter of seconds. Now, I mentioned how Chelsea went man-to-man with Barcelona. But the funny thing is, they went man-to-man in possession. They also went man-to-man out of possession. And this is why when Barcelona went down to 10 men, it just made it easier for Chelsea. But nothing changed. The tactics remained. Even though we've got a numerical advantage because one of your players was sent off, we're still going man to man. You look at Chelsea. They actually set up in this like 3-3-4 shape when playing out of the back. And for me, it was Malo Gusto. He kept tucking inside. Now, I don't think Malo Gusto is really great at doing this whole tucking inside, inverted fullback stuff. But against Barcelona, it paid dividends. Why? Because that extra body would occupy a Barcelona midfielder. Barcelona, they like to play out the back with this 3-2-5, and then when they get into opposition territory, it becomes more of like a 4-3-3. The fact that Chelsea have now got Caicedo, Reece James, and Malo Gusto all in the centre of the midfield, 3v3. But Chelsea's three, let's just say, are far more physical. Malo Gusto is a physical player. Reece James is a physical player. Caicedo is a very physical player. They're all good duel winners and they're all good ball carries. So they went like a 3-3-4 shape. Now, what I really want to focus on is that 4 in attack. When you look at Barcelona, how do Barcelona set up off the ball? 4-3-3. 4 defenders. So you've got 2 fullbacks and you've got yourself 2 centre-backs. Enzo Maresca knew, yes, I've got Pedro Neto who's going to run in behind. He's going to run the channels. He's going to stretch the pitch. But Pedro Neto is not really a focal point. Pedro Neto is not really the most gifted physically, like in terms of hold up, in terms of strength. I can't leave my makeshift number 9, my makeshift Pedro Neto, leading the line down the middle outnumbered 2v1 against the two Barcelona centre backs. I can't. I can't. It's a recipe for disaster. Why? Because they'll get the beating of him. It's not as if Joao Pedro was on the field. What he done is Enzo Fernandez. I feel like the way Enzo Maresca utilizes Enzo Fernandez season after season, it's so like enjoyable because you could see he plays a variety of different roles, and there's a reason why he's getting you a lot of goals. There's a reason why he's chipping in with assists. There's a reason why like you could seriously make a case under Enzo Maresca. Enzo Fernandez is finally beginning to enjoy his football in South London at Chelsea. You could see they were set up in like this 3-3-4 shape, where Enzo Fernandez would actually join somebody like Pedro Neto. Now, of course, it wasn't always Enzo Fernandez. The one thing that I've always praised about Enzo Maresca is like his ability to chop and change the starting 11s, but most importantly, like this element of positional play where you could see players are playing all over the field. Like one minute the centre back is playing as a centre back, but then 2 minutes later he's playing in a bit more advanced position. When I go, you sit. When I sit, you go. When I drift out wide, you drift inward. Positional play. Players know throughout a 90-minute game, we might have to play in a variety of different positions. And that's what makes like Chelsea, especially in the big games, so difficult to contain and so difficult to like guess what they're about to throw at you. Enzo Fernandez was joining somebody like Pedro Neto. Why? You've got a back four, we will always attack you with a back four. On top of the fact that our midfielders are all going to join into the centre of the field in order to stop a transition. You look at some of these shapes from the 4-4-2 to the 4-2-4. They always had four leading the attack. They wanted to go man-to-man with Barcelona's defence. And when you look at the third goal, they attacked with four. Fair enough, from this photo, you can see Liam Delap is in a more offside position, but it's the fact that they went four. And the problem is with Barcelona is sometimes when they do defend and they're caught under transition, their back four becomes very narrow because they want to congest the field, because the way they're programmed to play is ground football. So when you want to play ground football, the players are always in close proximity to one another. You look at how narrow this Barcelona back four is. Like, look at how close they are to one another. All it takes is Enzo Fernandez to peel off down the left-hand side. He's in the right place at the right time. He squares it to Liam Delap. One of the easiest goals possible. But a lot of people will tell you, hey, they only scored this goal because Barcelona were down to 10 men. No, I don't think so. Because even if Barcelona had 11 players, they still would have defended with a back four, just like they did in Chelsea's third goal. And finally, it's only right we speak on Estevao. I think it's crazy how, like, when you speak about foreign talent that come from foreign leagues, in particular leagues that aren't really in the top five, where you know the level of quality, the level in the opposition, the level of football isn't up to par with the Premier League, to make the switch from the Brazilian league. And let's be real, guys, how many times have we seen talents come from the Brazilian league and flop, whether it's in La Liga, in the Premier League, in Serie A? Players that come from the Brazilian league, it takes them a while to adapt to like the physicality, the intensity of the league, let alone go into a top team like a Chelsea where there is pressure. There's pressure, there's demands, there's expectations. I think this kid has walked in and genuinely been like a breath of fresh air. He's brought a level of swagger. He's brought a level of confidence. But most importantly, and this is what impresses me the most because he's an 18-year-old, he's brought a level of maturity which you don't really see from 18-year-olds nowadays, especially him being a Brazilian player. Like, you'd look at him and think all he cares about is the flicks and the tricks and going out there and showboating. No. This kid has bite. This kid has a form of penetration. This kid, you don't want to give him half a yard because he will put the ball into the back of the net. If he can't put the ball into the back of the net, I promise you, he will find a teammate. And I think what this kid just done, Champions League, Barcelona, reigning La Liga winners, it's ridiculous. Like, it's something not many players have done, and it's something that you could seriously turn around and say, which other 18-year-old was terrorizing Europe, or shall we say, terrorizing football the way he was? I'd probably only say Neymar. In terms of Brazilians, who was the last 18-year-old that was terrorizing the world? It was Neymar. And we all saw what career Neymar went on to have. Champions League success, domestic league success. He will go down as one of the best players to play the game. And for me, Estevao, if he remains locked in and he remains flourishing and growing, God knows what his future is. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys on another one.